Hello, everybody. Today on The Hang, we're going to talk about one of our most popular questions, most popular topics, Dennis, for Phillip Jeffries, which is talk to me about shading or paneling in a natural wall covering. This is one of those things that I think really makes our wall covering special. This is one of the reasons I think people come to Phillip Jeffries, because they want something touched by hand. They want something that is not everywhere. But I think it's really important that we set expectations. So if you're a designer or you're an installer, I think it's really important that you set the expectation for your client that it's going to have panels, seams, and slight variation. Panels, seams, and slight variation. As long as you say that up front, I think the client is usually pretty happy. But if you have a client who says they want that, but are still very particular, we're going to give you some additional tips and tricks on how to minimize shading and paneling. So Dennis, you're the expert. You tell us, what are some of your tips or tricks to help minimize shading or paneling?
Well, the first step is to evaluate the room.
Yep.
And I work one wall at a time.
Okay.
See how many panels I need for a particular wall and how many bolts I need to accomplish that. And I'll shade through that. I'll get a mix of different shades, a little light, a little dark, a little in between, and get a good balance to the wall. By that I mean find the center of the wall so that I could balance the width of the sheets as they work themselves to the corners. If I start in one corner and just go with full width, I could end up in the other corner with a piece this wide, which has no balance to it at all.
So great point. So first step is measure out your room and make sure your panel size is approximately the same. What I heard Dennis say is, you don't want to have 36-inch wide pieces, 8 pieces, and then one piece that's only 4 inches. If that's the case, maybe cut off an inch on each piece so you have that balance throughout. So that's step one. How about in terms of coloring? How do you make sure that you don't have it go dark, light, dark, light? What is your process?
Well, if I'm shading the material, the bolts before I even, paste them or process them, I can get into the ballpark of the shading, and like I said, I can determine dark, light, and then some sort of shade in between that, and that's what I work with. And I don't necessarily put up all dark ones. I may put a dark with a medium next to that, and then maybe a dark, then a light, to just give it that little bit of difference. And then when you look at it overall, it has that inconsistent consistency.
Exactly. So again, this is part of, we talk about art and science in installation. This is one that really is part of the art, where you want to be looking at those wall coverings, those strips. You want to, one, use the science part of the measure, of making sure the width, the bolt size, or the panel size are all the same. And then two, we want to really take a look at slowly making sure you're mixing in the light to dark to have that overall vibe. And if we do that, I think it usually ends up with a happy client. How about you, Dennis?
Almost 100% of the time.
Awesome. So now you know some of the tips and tricks to really help ensure that when you do have a grass cloth and you want to minimize the shading, it's going to look perfect on your client's walls.